Welcome back to the English Archive. In our last video, we identified the problem that keeps millions of learners stuck inside what we called the grammar prison. Today, we move beyond the problem and into the exit. Because if you can explain the present perfect tense but still stutter when ordering a pizza in London, something very important is happening in your brain. Your brain is not speaking. It is calculating. It is running grammar formulas, checking sentence structure, monitoring mistakes, and that creates an impossible cognitive load. It is like trying to solve complex math in your head while someone is waiting for a simple human answer. Language was never meant to be produced that way, and a system that turns communication into calculation will always block fluency. To break free, we must move from learning to acquisition. When you study grammar, you are learning about English. You are using the conscious, analytical part of the brain. That system is excellent for logic, analysis, and exams. But it is not the system that builds language. Fluency does not emerge from thinking. It emerges from wiring, from pattern formation, from subconscious construction. And acquisition only happens in one way, through comprehensible input. This is the foundation of Dr. Stephen Krashen's research and the input hypothesis. When you understand messages that are just one step beyond your current level, your brain does not memorize rules. It reorganizes itself. It absorbs grammar, structure, and timing automatically, not because you force it to, but because that is what the nervous system does when it receives meaningful sound. Think about the silent period of a baby. A baby listens for 2 years before speaking a single real sentence. No flashcards, no verb charts, no corrections. Only sound, emotion, rhythm, and meaning. During that time, the baby's brain is not idle. It is building an internal map, a living system of the language. As adults, we destroy this phase. We demand speech immediately. We pressure performance before construction. And that pressure creates anxiety. Anxiety shifts the brain into control mode, and control mode shuts down acquisition. This is why so many adults understand English but cannot live inside it. The English Archive exists to recreate that missing phase, to restore the biological order of language building. System first, speech later. Our secret weapon is high-frequency audio. Because in natural spoken language, the same core structures and words appear again and again. In a 15-minute conversation, you are exposed to the 1,000 most common patterns that actually build fluency. But audio gives you more than words. It carries emotion, intention, hesitation, certainty, irony, rhythm. These are not decorations. They are how the brain codes language. This is how mental anchors are created. You can read the word exhausted and understand it. But when you hear someone say, "I am so exhausted," and release a slow, heavy breath, your nervous system stores that word as an experience. Under pressure, your brain does not search for definitions. It retrieves sensations. And that speed, that immediacy, is what we experience as fluency. To allow this process to work, every archive is used in a specific way. First, listen. Your only job is to understand the message and follow the meaning. No words, no analysis, just presence. Second, listen. Now that your brain knows the story, you begin to notice vocabulary and expressions naturally. Patterns start to stand out without effort. Third, listen. This time, you focus only on the music of the language, the rhythm, the linking, the rise and fall of sentences. This is the layer that transforms speech from correct into natural, from constructed into lived. Consistency will always beat intensity. The nervous system does not respond to force. It responds to frequency. 15 minutes of focused listening several times a week will build more fluency than 5 hours of grammar once a week. Because acquisition grows through repeated experience, not through intellectual effort. So stop being a student and start being a listener. Release the fear of mistakes, release the need to control, and let the language begin building itself. Trust the science, trust your brain, and allow English to grow where it was always meant to grow. The time for struggling is over. It is time for acquisition. See you in the next archive.